This is the Zion Christian Church, a century-old church situated at the heart of Limpopo, Polokwane, South Africa, with many branches across the country. The church has around 7 to 16 million members in the Southern African tip alone. This is a big church with a following that is constantly growing year in, year out. However, over the years, there has been scrutiny over the church and its policies signaling a cultish nature. The church followers are constantly accused of revering to the bishop in a cultish manner, which then raises the question, is ZCC a cult? As a direct influence from John Alexander Darwin's Zionism in South Africa, the Zion Christian Church was formed in 1910 but formally registered in 1925 by Ignatius Engenas Lekhanyane alongside his friend Samuel Mutendi at the Union Buildings. Mutendi, who was of Zimbabwean descent, went on to open the Zimbabwean branch of the church in his homeland, which still flourishes to date. Ignatius Engenas Lekhanyane's son and successor Edward Lekhanyane took over the church in 1948 after his father's passing. He was inaugurated by his uncle Reuben Lekhanyane. The church then since saw a great expansion from around 50,000 followers to 600,000 followers. Amidst this period, another one of Engenas's sons, Joseph Lekhanyane, formed a breakaway church called the St. Engenas ZCC, which flourishes to date. This was because he was not pleased with Edward's inauguration as the church's bishop. Joseph broke away from the church with support from his uncle, Paulos Lekhanyane, and many others who felt that he was the rightful successor to their father, Ignatius Engenas Lekhanyane. As time went on, Edward Lekhanyane, who was now the new bishop of the church, then went on to make a few changes in the church. He formed the Mkuku organization, which was a group that wore military attire and danced and sang in a stomping style. Other dance styles such as Ngedi, which wore Scottish kilts, also became prominent. This thus formed the church's well-known culture, its military-styled uniform. Many scholars have argued that the adoption of such a military-styled uniform is a direct influence of the European military of the time. It is argued that the reason for this uniform is to reiterate discipline and order. Inasmuch as Edward Lekhanyane wanted to avoid politics, the National Party in 1948 had won the elections and thus passed the apartheid law, which forced segregation of black people from the white communities. Edward was an outspoken anti-apartheid activist at the beginning, but however, the National Party government pushed the apartheid agenda, and resultantly, he was pressured by the government to promote anti-communism and anti-apartheid. Out of obligation, he ordered the large church to halt their support for anti-apartheid organizations such as the ANC.
ZCC's attitude in South African politics, we asked its secretary, Mr. Moses Retsoal, about relations with Pretoria.
ZCC has a goodwill relationship with the South African government.
In 1967, Edward Lekhanyane died of a heart attack and was succeeded by his son, Edward Barnabas Lekhanyane, who is still the bishop of the ZCC to date.
ke moadu ba mphaka o re pepile ka thari ya Sioni o phuthile molepo le mmamabolo thabeng tsa Sioni ba re kgomoe maila kolobe ba re ke lehlomela la ntlo ya Dafita re a leboha.
The Zion Christian Church members are known for the endearment of their bishop, most especially amongst the elder followers of the church. This endearment tends to quickly become worship. Most, if not all, followers believe he is the intercessor for the people's sin. Some of the followers even believe that he is God or the direct Son of God. Some congregants believe that the scripture in Isaiah 53 speaks of the Bishop Lekhanyane himself as the medium between them and God. The church is deeply rooted on the belief of ancestors. The ancestors are believed to intercede on their behalf in the eyes of God. As part of the intercession team, ZCC members believe that church angels are also liable for their intercession before God. The church's symbol is a star. The congregants wear a badge with a green cloth as well as a round black cloth with a star on top. The military-style hats that the congregants wear also have a star at the forefront of the hat. This has caused masses to question this symbolism as being close to the pentagram star used in Satanism, which depicts the spirit of rebellion in the form of a goat head. Another one of ZCC's symbolism includes a cow. The ZCC leader Dr. B.E. Lekhanyane is often referred to as Khomu, which is a Sepedi word for cow. The cow symbol is repetitive in the church's products. Critics of the church connotate and tie this to the cow that the children of Israel molded using gold and worshipped after long waiting for Moses on the mountain when he went into God's presence to get the revelation of the Ten Commandments. Critics also point out that such reverence to a cow's image is oddly similar to that of the Egyptian god Moloch, who was a statue made of brass and thus was labeled as a form of idolatry. When praying, the congregants invoke God using the names of the three founding generations of the church, that is, the name of Edward, Agnes, and Barnabas. A favorite argument that is constantly used by critics against the church is one that the church members rarely use the name of God as being Jehovah or Yahweh, but rather it is a vague term that they use to invoke this God. They call him Modimo wa Thaba Sioni, which literally translates the God of Mount Zion, which is the name given to the mountain of residence of the bishop in Moriah, Polokwane. The congregants of the church hang photos of their leaders in their houses as they believe that they can ward evil spirits and bring fortune of goodwill. This is a questionable practice that critics of the church always refer back to as being a form of idolatry. The church uses the Bible for its preaching. However, its focus is on the Old Testament and the stories of the prophets. During the Easter gathering in Moriah, the preachers only speak of Jesus and his resurrection in passing. The church is focused on Old Testament laws and prophecy as God's mode of communication to the congregation. As part of the church's belief, the congregants use multiple elements believed to be spiritual. These include waters from rivers, teas and coffees, which are prayed for and then believing to having acquired healing properties. What do you think about this church? Do you think it is a cult or no? Comment down below to tell me what you think. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.